Hi guys, so welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you a few examples using the cosine law. So the cosine law can be used in two main scenarios. First of all, when you're given three sides of a triangle, or if you are given two sides and one included angle. So again, remember your included angle would be this angle right here. Let's say we have some sort of triangle. You have A, B, and C, and we know that this side is 4, this side here is 5, and the included angle would be angle B in this situation. So in cosine law, there's actually two variations again, very similar to the sine law, where you either solve for a side or you solve for an angle. So the general format for a side, we have a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc times the cosine of angle A. The general format for an angle using the cosine law is going to be cosine of A is equal to b squared plus c squared minus a squared over 2bc. So that's the general format of both the side and the angle forms of the cosine law. So let's go ahead and try out an example where we need to solve for for a side of a triangle. So let's say, for example, we have triangle ABC, and we are given this side, or this angle rather, as 32 degrees. We know that this side here is going to be 11, and this side here is 8. So we're going to have to solve for this side right here. I'm going to try to solve for B. So before I do that, we're going to go ahead and label all the other sides. We know that this is little c, this is little a. So in this case, because we are using the form of the cosine law that asks us to solve for a side, I'm going to go ahead and write it down in terms of b. So b squared is equal to a squared. B squared is equal to a squared plus c squared minus 2ac times the cosine of angle B. So let's go ahead and fill in all of those variables. So we know that b squared is equal to 8 squared plus 11 squared minus 2 times 8 times 11 times the cosine. Oh, sorry. Got some dead pixels there. Times the cosine of 32 degrees. So again, like always, make sure you set your calculator into degree mode before you start to punch in any numbers. We're going to do these two different parts here just so we're able to keep everything straight. So we're going to do that in the yellow. And we're going to do this separately. And then we are going to subtract my two results. So if I go ahead and punch that into my calculator, b squared is equal to 64 plus 121 is equal to 185. And then we're going to subtract whatever we get from the green. 2 times 8 times 11 times the cosine of 32 degrees gives me about 149.25. Let's just round it to 149. We have b squared is equal to 185 minus 149. We have roughly 36. We're going to square root both sides. And we get b is equal to 6. Okay, so again, generally what I would also get my students to do is to make sure that you guys write down all your different variables. So again, a was equal to 8, b was equal to what we're trying to solve, c is equal to 11, big A, we don't really care, b, we know is 32, and c, we don't really need to worry about either. Okay, so again, make sure you do them separately. So do that yellow portion on its own and subtract whatever you get from the green. That way you aren't mixing up any signs or confusing any of the operations that are happening. Next, let's take a look at an example where we are going to solve for an angle. So given some sort of triangle, let's say we're given 3 different sides of a triangle, and we're going to be asked to solve for a certain angle. So let's say we have triangle ABC, and we know we've got 6, 5, and 8, and we are being asked to solve for angle B. Let's go ahead and label all the sides. We know this is little b, little a, and little c. We know that a is equal to 5, b is equal to 8, c is equal to 6, and we're looking for angle B. So we're going to use the variation of the cosine law that helps us solve for an angle. So we know that cosine of B is equal to a squared plus b squared. Nope, sorry, not b squared. A squared plus c squared minus b squared over 2 times ac will give me the cosine of angle B. So we're going to go ahead and plug in all of our known values. So cosine of B is equal to 5 squared plus 8 squared minus, 5 squared plus 6 squared minus 8 squared over 2 times 5 times 6. So again, I'd recommend that you guys do these separately. 5 squared plus 6 squared, that'll be 25 plus 36, so that's 51. Oops, sorry, not 51, 61. And 61 minus 8 squared is 64, so I'm going to have a negative 3 up top. And divided by 2 times 5 times 6, that's 10 times 6, gives you 60. And what I just did was I took the top, did all of that, did the bottom, and I get these results. So I keep them very separate. So I get negative 3 over 60. And then I'm going to go and simplify a little bit. So depending on what you'd rather do, if you'd rather punch in negative 3 over 60 into your calculator, or we can just go ahead and simplify. Cosine of B gives you negative 1 over 20. If you're not comfortable punching in a fraction into your calculator, that would give you negative 0.05. So on your calculator, what you need to do is, because we need to look for angle B, we're not looking for the cosine of B, we're going to use the inverse cosine function. So inverse cosine of negative 0.05. If I punch that into my calculator, I end up with roughly 92.86, which gives us 93 degrees overall. So there we have it. We have an example of where we looked for angle B using the cosine law.